When Claire told me she wanted intimacy only once a month, she said it like it was a reasonable compromise, like I was being impatient for wanting more. We'd been married 8 years, together for 10. I wasn't chasing lust, I was craving connection. But she leaned back in her chair that night, wine glass in hand, and said, "Once a month is enough, Ethan. We're adults, not teenagers." Her words didn't just sting. They settled into my chest like cold iron. I nodded, pretending to agree, but something cracked inside me. Once a month wasn't about frequency. It was about how little she wanted to try. Over the next few weeks, I noticed the distance multiply. She was glued to her phone, laughing at texts I never saw. She started staying late at her new marketing job, saying deadlines were piling up. I'd make dinner, set the table, and she'd stroll in hours later with an excuse already rehearsed. One Friday night, I asked, "You still love me, right?" She hesitated, just a beat, but in that pause, everything changed. "Of course I do," she said. "You're just too intense sometimes. You need to relax." I lay awake that night replaying her tone, detached, almost amused. I wasn't intense. I was married, trying to keep something alive that she was slowly suffocating. 2 days later, she canceled our weekend getaway because of work. I didn't argue. Instead, I called a lawyer friend, not to file anything, but to understand what divorce looked like. The idea of leaving felt impossible, yet the idea of staying felt worse. A week later, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the counter. Normally, I wouldn't touch it, but the name flashing on the screen wasn't one I recognized. Mark, Jim. The preview read, "You're killing me. Last night was unreal." My chest went tight. My pulse didn't spike like in the movies. It just slowed, heavy, deliberate. I placed the phone back where it was and walked out. That evening, I made dinner as usual, steak, her favorite. When she came home, hair still damp from the gym, I smiled. "We need to talk," I said calmly. Her expression shifted, cautious, guarded. "Ethan, if this is about us, can we not do this tonight?" "Oh, we'll do it tonight," I replied. "You said intimacy once a month, right? I think I'll pass. I'm proposing something else." She frowned, confused. "What are you talking about?" "I'm proposing a divorce." The fork slipped from her hand. "You're not serious." "I'm done being the only one who cares, Claire." Her eyes widened. For the first time in months, she looked alive. "Hey, calm down, I need." "What? You need time?" "Space." Another excuse. I cut her off. She stood, trembling slightly. "No, Ethan, you don't understand. I need this to end on my terms." That sentence echoed. I didn't know what she meant yet, but it chilled me. She wasn't pleading, she was planning. That night, she slept in the guest room. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, her words replaying in a loop. On my terms. The next morning, she acted normal. Coffee brewing, soft music, her robe tied loose at the waist. She smiled faintly, as if last night hadn't happened. "I was thinking we could take a break," she said. "No need for something drastic. Let's just reset." But her calmness felt rehearsed. I saw it now, the way she managed emotions like a PR campaign. Every apology, every explanation carefully worded to make me doubt myself. Later that afternoon, I got a text from an unknown number. "She's not who you think she is. Meet me tonight at 7. The cafe on Birch Street." I stared at that message for a long minute, wondering if it was some kind of prank. But something in my gut told me it wasn't. At 7 p.m., I drove to the cafe on Birch Street, rain streaking across the windshield like faint scratches. Inside, a woman in her late 30s sat alone at the corner table. She looked nervous, stirring her coffee even though it had gone cold. When she saw me, she waved slightly. "Ethan?" I nodded. "You sent the text?" "Yes," she whispered. "I'm Mark's wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife." The name hit me like a second heartbeat. Mark Jim. She slid her phone across the table. There were screenshots, messages between Mark and Claire. Not just flirty lines, but full confessions, plans, hotel bookings, even private jokes about me. "She told him you'd never leave," the woman said quietly. That you're too gentle, too afraid of being alone. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. It wasn't the betrayal that destroyed me. It was how predictable she thought I was. I thanked the woman, drove home, and sat in the driveway for almost an hour. The house lights were on. Claire was probably inside, pretending to scroll through her phone, acting like she hadn't detonated our life. When I finally walked in, she was in the living room, curled up with a blanket. "You're late," she said casually. "Yeah," I replied, my voice even. "Had a meeting." She didn't look up. "With who?" "Your boyfriend's wife." The color drained from her face. The silence that followed was heavier than shouting could ever be. She opened her mouth to speak, but I raised a hand. "Don't," I said quietly. "You had your chance to talk. You had months." She stood, trembling, tears forming but not falling. "Ethan, please, it wasn't." "Wasn't what? Real? Intentional? You told him I'd never leave you." "Guess what, Claire? You were wrong." I turned toward the hallway, but she grabbed my arm. "Wait, I need you to listen." I pulled free. "You need control. That's what you need." For the first time, her composure cracked completely. "I made a mistake, okay? I didn't love him. It was just convenient," I said sharply. "Safe? Fun?" Her voice dropped to a whisper. "I was scared. Of losing you. Of not being wanted. I pushed you away because I couldn't admit I was empty. That almost broke me, almost. But love built on manipulation isn't love. It's captivity." I went upstairs, packed a bag, and paused at the doorway. "Once a month, Claire," I said softly. "That's all you thought I deserved. Now you'll get what you gave, distance." When I left, she didn't follow. Weeks passed. Papers were signed. My nights were quiet now, but not lonely. More like the silence after a storm, where you can finally hear yourself think. One morning, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside was a short note in her handwriting. "You were right. I needed control. I thought power would fill the emptiness, but it only deepened it. I'm sorry you had to pay the price for my fear." No plea, no hope, just that. I folded the note and set it aside. That evening, I went to the same cafe where I'd met Mark's wife. The rain was back. Same rhythm, same gray sky. I sat by the window, ordered coffee, and realized something. I wasn't angry anymore. I was free. The woman at the next table smiled politely, her laptop open, typing something fast. Life goes on, I thought. Pain softens, memories fade, and sometimes endings are just disguised beginnings. I took a sip of my coffee and whispered to myself, "Once a month? No. Once in a lifetime, that's what love should be."